I find one of the biggest problems in the content creation industry really is people's inability to know when to stop. It's like either reinvent yourself or just stop creating. There's too many content creators in so many different niches and areas who are doing the same thing they were doing 5 years ago. The content is exactly the same and it's boring as shit for anyone that's followed. So like there's people I come across on like TikTok and even on YouTube even. And in the past, maybe I'd been enamored with it or I'd be intrigued and I'd think this is great, but it hasn't evolved. It's the same thing over and over again. So I might get, like, for instance, I'm spiritual, I get tarot readings all the time. And these people still do the same readings all the time. Like nothing's evolved, nothing's grown. So I just think to myself, like, why are you still doing this? It's just a bit boring now, you know? It's just you same old messages. Now, maybe they're aligned, maybe they're not, but it's really that's how you want to spend your entire life. Just keep doing these readings for people as a way to supplement your life or it's your income. I don't know. I just think there's got to be more than this, you know. And like I said, there's other niches and other areas, and it just gets, for me, it gets incredibly boring. And I lead by example, and I spoke quite openly about the fact that there will come a time when my content ends too, and I've got no hesitancy or no issue with stopping. As you can see here, this video, I've not even bothered putting my background up to date because I'm just going to call it quits. I'm just going to call it quits. This isn't me. Well, you can call it quitting, whatever you want to call it. It's just me. I've had enough anyway. I look at what I'm doing and I feel to a degree, to an extent, what I'm doing goes round in circles. I feel like I'm hitting my head against a wall and I'm not reaching the audiences. And there's only so much you can do to try to improve that. But ultimately, I'm noticing to a degree that some of my content is overlapping because it didn't hit the target audience the first time. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. But the work was already done. So I'm not here to repeat myself and spend my whole life going around in circles. I don't see the point of that. How does that benefit me and how does it benefit anyone else? It's the same with like my books. If I've got nothing else to say, then they'll just stop. I have no problem stopping anything. It's not even about stopping, pivoting, and going different directions. Sometimes it's just to stop. Don't always have to do a million things in your lifetime, We can pivot, we can evolve, and we can do different things. We can also just be proud of what we've accomplished and say, we had a good go of it. That's fine. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't want to keep reinventing myself, I think about it just now, and I know I can, but I don't want to. So it's just, some people might think it's a waste of potential, waste of this. I don't really care how people interpret it. It's how am I content with what I've accomplished or what I've at least tried to achieve. Yeah, I don't think there's much more I could have done apart from perhaps networking more. But guess what? I don't want to. I absolutely don't want to. I thought, but I was doing well on Twitter many years ago. Up to about 2020, I left Twitter and I moved over to TikTok. And I enjoyed the video content more. Allowed me to express myself more rather than just a very shortened character length. I don't know if they've improved it now or to allow you more on Twitter or not, or X, whatever you want to call it. But back in the day, you could only do so much. And I always found myself constantly having to delete a sentence to try to reformat it to fit, to at least allow it to be sent. It's just annoying. So I was just thinking to myself just now, I could potentially make a profile, and I've already had one on Blue Sky, which I haven't even bothered using. And again, you've got X Twitter. And I could do that, and I could do a whole series of regular updates on a daily basis, my views on life, my views on politics, things I'm doing personally in my life. I could give an update on a daily basis for the best part of a year or so. That'd be a different direction. But even after thinking about it, I just thought I don't even want to, though. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't care. That's an area, yeah, you could exploit what you can do. I'm sick and tired of the merry-go-round, Anyway, yeah, I have days when I'm up, days when I'm down, but this goes beyond the ups and downs. I've been thinking about it for a while. I don't like the repetition of things. I don't like repeating cycles. I don't like feeling like I'm going through the motions. If I'm doing the same thing over and over again, I don't see the point of it. There's no justification to it, and it's kind of a waste of my time and energy. So I don't really like wasting my time and energy too much, to be totally honest. And I feel I've put in the work for so long. It has not been rewarded in any way. since 2019, I released books, continuously. And I think maybe last year was the year I didn't release a book, if I'm correct. So 2025, there wasn't, but there was 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 we had missed, 26, we just done one in January. And that one for me was supposed to really, really pick up. That was supposed to be the mother of all books in a sense. I still, I still have soft spot for other books, but that book I felt was great. Follow Your Dreams to Spark Your Soul. And it took me a monumentous effort to do it, to keep motivated. That's why I had a break in 2025. I focused more on videos. I didn't really want to keep doing the book all the time. And I put it off. And I finally kicked my ass and got it done. And I thought, this is going to be the breakthrough. And it's always the next project's going to be the breakthrough. And guess what? The breakthrough never comes. I say it a lot. I don't seek a pity party. That's not what the point is. I'm just providing an honest, fair reflection of my journey to date. I'm proud of my accomplishments, but they haven't changed my life in a positive way in anywhere apart from being proud of self. And that's a great place to be. I'm very proud. But it hasn't improved my life beyond that. So if we're talking about financial, however, in terms of, you, for the most part, you do want a financial blessing, don't you? You do want to feel like you're doing well, and you don't have to keep worrying about your finances every day. That's a nice place to be, of course. But there's other sides to it. It's knowing that you've impacted people in a positive way. That's the whole point in essentially anyway. Money comes, money goes. We don't leave this planet with any of it anyway. But it'd be nice to leave something for this planet to help people. So ultimately what you do, well, at least what I do, it goes beyond any selfish desires and needs. Although, of course, there are things I'd love to have and I feel I deserve. But if it's not having the impact that I planned, what's the point? And again, I'm not going to keep going around in circles here. I'm not going to create another 20 books in the hope that one of them finally hits. I'm not doing that. I'm not prepared to. I've put in the work. The videos exist. The books exist. And I've always said that. It's not about anybody owing me anything. It's just the universe hasn't caught me when I feel they should. I get some beautiful signs right now. So when I say spiritual, I get a lot of signs about wealth coming in, potential opportunities. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about any of this anymore. Now, I do understand that a lot of time your blessings actually come in when it seems like all's lost. And you do give up to an extent. But even then, even with that in the back of my mind, I still don't care beyond it, though. Sick of seeing the signs. I have had signs my whole life for about past 5-6 years when I started my spiritual journey. And yes, some of them have come true. But guess what? Some of them are still waiting to happen. And it's been a long time. It's been an incredibly long time. And yeah, so I openly share the highs, the lows of my path, but I'm not going to share it forever. My life is private to me. I've never felt a need to be that person. I feel like it's important if I start sharing, that I share it, the highs, the lows. But it doesn't mean I share an intimate period of my life all the way through. Like I'm an open book and people deserve that experience. That's not the case at all. I just feel if I share one side and I don't feel the chapter's complete, then I should share the duration of the peaks, the lows, all that, So you actually get a fair reflection. But I feel like I've done that for that period. So I don't feel I need to continue revealing everything that happens in my life. There's a certain level of privacy that I deeply want. I'm very firm with boundaries like that. So I have no problem walking away for a period of time. It's just frustrating. And I would even go as far as to say embarrassing. I say that privately in my own life. I say it because again, I'm spiritual. I look like a crazy person to people that aren't. But I say it to spirit, my spirit guides all the time with spirit. I walk around regularly just saying it's absolutely embarrassing. Not like I'm embarrassed for myself, like I'm worried about what people think of me. It's just embarrassing that you worked your ass off and you never got anywhere. That's, for me, it's pathetic. But, and I'm like, I couldn't have done more. I just feel like my hands are tied all the time. But again, if we go full circle to what the content of this video was in the first place, it was stop repeating the content and knowing when to stop. Because like I said, I see so many content creators that are still doing the same shit. And it's not evolved, it's not grown, and it's no better than it was before. If anything, I feel like they're just taking advantage of people. They're just milking the cow as long as they can milk it. And they've really got no plan going forward of how they're going to adapt, change, and pivot and go in different paths. So they get so stuck in this idea of what they need to do. Put it this way, and this is how I felt for a long time. Not everybody's spiritual, and that's absolutely fine. You wouldn't find me trying to coerce or force anyone to believe something they don't believe. I'm not into all that shit. It's just I heard there was an episode of Big Bang Theory. My daughter was watching, was doing a live chat. I could hear it, and it made me laugh. It was Sheldon, and he said about clairvoyance. Now, of course, being someone spiritual, I do believe in clairvoyance, and I get a lot of signs in my own life and I have my own experiences. But it's not for me to determine someone else's. So it's someone else's view of the world and our existence is entirely valid for them. Now, I know that's only a character in a TV show, but it's based on someone's beliefs realistically from a writer. Now, whether they, we keep that anyway, subjective, of course. But in the episode, he was so blunt because that's how Sheldon is, which is the character I like because he just says what he thinks. And he said clairvoyancy is false, is fake. You are a fraud. That's what he said, and I just laughed. I just love the fact that I like people to own it. I'm not someone that would get offended if someone said that to me. Like, it's like, you believe what you want. I'm not here to convince you otherwise, and I'm not going to get in a deep argument over it. It's just, I've got nothing. I don't feel the need to convince anyone of anything. I just try to encourage people to look within and find the answers for themselves. And that's as far as I'm prepared to go with it. So if someone was to say, this isn't real, in your experience, perhaps that doesn't seem real. That's entirely valid for you then. If you have to keep fighting that corner and make the argument, then I would suggest it shows an insecurity and you're seeking validation. Someone who's confident in their own being and beliefs isn't going to feel the need to justify it every 2 seconds. And that's the thing with me. So you're not going to find me justifying shit. So someone might think they've won an argument. It's just I couldn't give a shit to argue anymore. I used to argue when I was younger about things, but nah, I haven't got the time and energy for that anymore. So yeah, like I say, if someone wants to believe one thing or another, there's no difference to me. What does someone's belief affect my daily life? It's completely irrelevant. But anyway, like I say, I see people just creating the same shit over time, and I'm so bored. And they all copy each other. They do, and you know why? Because there's mannerisms people do. There's a lot of female. I'll talk about women because that's what I'm picking up a lot at the moment. There's a lot of women, again, within the spiritual community. They put on this weepy, posh voice. It's so frustrating. I can't even do it because I'm not like that. But they'd say it like, oh, let's say your life is going to get better. They'll say, oh, your life is going to get better. They drag it out a little bit. It's this weird thing they do. And they do it all the time. It's like this sleepy mannerism. It's just, they think it oozes class. It makes them sophisticated. You can tell by the way they do it. And then we get multiples doing the same thing. And it's like, there's no way you're all doing this sincerely on your own. You're influenced by another content creator and you're all mirroring each other. It's sad. Like, I just think it's ridiculous. Why can't people be original? And then the other thing is, I've done videos on it already, is the term literally. The amount of content creators that say literally nowadays. And then it goes as far as to say it in comments. I look and I read the comments and I'm like, you didn't need that. You could have took that literally out and the content would have been the same. Like, why are you inflating it with this? Because people think it makes them seem intelligent. It doesn't. It makes you seem ridiculous. I just think you just all copycats. It makes me see the fraud amongst people. That's what I see from it. I'm not saying that people's content isn't accurate and they're good at what they do, but they reduce the quality of it by keep mirroring and copying other people rather than be original. So they pick up mannerisms because they were trying to mirror someone else, and they pick up the mannerisms of speech, but all in the way they deliver it. But then they copy the words. Some people just constantly say basically, or there's always words, or they might say right at the end of a sentence, like almost like they're trying to get you to agree. Or in the spiritual community, there's people that keep calling people I can't remember what it's called now. I'm so tired. It's late at night. I just didn't want to do the video in the morning because I have a delivery and I really can't be bothered to try and figure out how I'm going to be called in between it, because you miss a delivery, that's going to annoy me more than this. To be totally honest, I get really, really, really annoyed when I miss something. I can't remember what they call it now. It begins with a C. Collective. Because they call it a collective. So like if they're doing a tarot reading publicly, they say it's their collective. So this is a group of people that share similar energy frequency or similar timeline, and this content they create is for all of you. And it makes sense because weirdly enough, a lot of it matches me. Not every single thing, but most things do. But when they keep repeating the word collective, it's almost like they're calling your name out all the time. I don't need someone to keep saying Steve or Stephen, whatever you want to call my name. I don't call my name, so how often do we refer to ourselves? But let's say you just say Steve. By saying collective, you're saying Steve. So it keeps referring to my name every time you deliver a message or some information. It doesn't make sense. Why would you habitually keep repeating someone's name? And again, this is just amateur to amateur hour. And I don't like keep picking at people and tearing them apart. But it's standards. And they think they're the best at what they do. Like maybe they may be very, very high ranking in what they do in terms of their ability and become experts, but the delivery is shit. And I don't like saying that, but most content creators are absolute crap to me. And I don't like saying it, but I'm coming off social media. I can't watch them anymore. The amount of videos I see that keep saying literally, and if people don't believe me on this, I can't convince them of anything. But if as soon as someone says literally in a video, whether it's at the beginning, middle, or the end, as soon as I hear the word literally, I scroll off. And I don't care how deep that message is or who they are. I'm doing it all the time. Someone said literally within the first 5 words, and I was absolutely shocked. So I had to pause it, look at what all the writing was on the screen. And then I started the video again because I knew the literally was going to come, but I just wanted to hear what they said at the beginning. And I was surprised how quick they threw it out there. And I just thought, what the hell are you doing? How did that add any value to your freaking content? And it's a trigger word for me. Now I can't hear it. I can't put up with it. I just recognize anyone that's going to refer to literally out of its actual context creates inferior work. And that's how I see it. So I just see him as amateur hour. They might be experts in their field, but the delivery shit. So I'm going to cancel it and I'll just scroll. And the problem is I get a load of other ones doing the same thing. So I come off the back of that one, go straight into another one. And I'm like, this is a joke. They're all doing it. They've all got no class. I can't be around content creators like this. I don't mind stepping out and just letting these lunatics run riot. I'm not competing with people. And I can't even get the attention on my work anyway to even have an impact. So it's like, I've put the reality is, I've given the world a period of my life, and I feel comfortable with that. Again, no one owes me anything. I just wasn't successful in that period, and it's fine. It's just I accept that I wasn't successful. I don't regard my work as inferior or not deserving success. It was just never successful. I can't force that. There's ways I can behave too. So, for instance, where I said about X, Twitter, that Blue Sky, there's ways in which I could promote. I don't want to. That's a limitation of myself. But it's something that I will not budge on. So I have a hard time self-promotion. I don't want to repeat and copy other people in a way to go viral or get attention, I don't even want that virality. That's the crazy thing. I get a lot of signs about that. Like, people are impressed with you. I'm like, no one's impressed with me. There's no one seeing my content. What are you talking about? It doesn't make sense. And then it says about you're going to go viral later. And I guess what? I don't even give a shit about going viral, though. I don't need the attention on me like that. And that's the thing that annoys me. To gain in one area of life, you have to give up something else. I've never felt comfortable with that. I don't like it. For you to have money means you're probably going to have to give all of your privacy up. You have to give everybody your attention. I never said I was going to give people that. So I don't know if I really want that to that extreme. So I don't even know what I want anymore, because in the ideal world, you'd have life perfect. It doesn't exist. You always have to sacrifice something to have something else. And I'm not sure how much I'm prepared to sacrifice at this stage or any stage of my life. In fact, the older I get, the less I'm prepared to. So let's say an opportunity comes. It doesn't happen for another 10 years. I can bet your ass in the 10 years' time, I'm not going to give a shit at all. I'll be like, the work exists. Leave me alone. That's what, because I can see me being like that because I'm getting like that now. Add 10 years to it, I'm really not going to give a shit. If I've not created content for a while and then someone comes out of the woodwork and says, oh, we love what you did then, we'd love to do something. I'm not even creating anymore. What are you talking about? I'm retired from doing all that. So that's where I'm coming from anyway. I recognize when I talk on things like this and I do this, it can close doors, but guess what? I don't give a shit. The door, it's not my problem, I was ready for the door to open before. But I'm not prepared to keep waiting anymore. And I'm not prepared to keep going around in circles. I do have some content I intend to still create. I've got my videos where I'm doing my dash cam, for the video, for the car. I don't really care if anyone watches it. I've watched them back. And it gives me a sense of pride, really, the journey I have to travel for my daughter, for instance, and the things we do. And it just brings back that memory. And I just figure I'll share it because someone else might have to take a similar trip and it might help them understand the roads, the travel, all those dynamics. It might be educational. People might be interested. If they're not, It doesn't bother me. You know, it's more archiving. So I have that to do. I still have the websites to do. I might better get. I haven't planned anything here. To be honest, I wasn't even planning to make it this long. I definitely won't be doing a video for much longer. So wait a minute. Right. So these are the travel videos. We're not going to click them, but these are the two recent ones. These are how the thumbnails are going to look. I've only got a few more to do with them. Maybe there's 2 more videos. I think one was a trip in Manchester to IKEA. Might be interesting. People see me driving around Manchester a bit more. But it's still main roads because that's how Manchester is. You get this ring road around Manchester and it gets you all over the place. And then there's another one to a safari park just outside Liverpool. So I travel from Manchester to Liverpool just to go there. It's a new experience. So I'll probably share that at some point. It's a pain in the ass getting the file from the dash cam because it uses a ridiculous file type. And it's a pain in the ass converting it. It takes absolute ages. It takes me hours to just do a simple video. It's ridiculous. It takes me about 4 hours to do a video, at least 4 hours. Because the conversion time to do each file is separated into 3-minute clips. I don't want to go into it, but it's not. This isn't a case of something simple. It's a pain in my ass. And again, is it worth the effort? For me to watch it back? Yeah. For others to watch it, probably not worth it. They're probably not going to get the joy out of it or anything. I don't know. Nothing works, does it? What's the point? I don't try to make this negative. I'm just being absolutely honest. So like I say, sometimes I'm updating the website, sometimes I'm not. I don't really feel the urge to do anything at the minute, if I'm being totally honest. Got this one. If I decide to continue to try to have an impact, it might be that I take a back seat from video content and I just keep working on this, because from this I can use my existing videos, and there's over 700 videos, so I could have 700 articles, for instance, and I could just go back to each one of them and create an article off the back of it, embed the video in, and maybe this grows, maybe it don't, but at the moment it doesn't make money, especially if I'm not selling books, and especially if there's no advertisement placed. So how am I going to make money off the back of this? God knows. And that's where the problem is. I don't do well with monetizing things. And I don't even know how committed I am at the moment. I really don't know. I can't guarantee anything. And this is my physical media one. I've got a lot of physical media I haven't already shared that I meant to share and I haven't got around to it. So now I fell well behind. So now it's a case of, well, I've got a load of new things, but what the hell how do I present it without overwhelming? So I'm not even sure. I mean, I've got no idea how often I'm going to create content for it. But these are things that keep me busy, you know. So I could easily spend a month doing this one. I could easily spend a month doing this one. I could spend all year doing this one and not create anything there for a while. I could be updating this one and create blogs and just make new articles there. So there's always these opportunities I can do. Or guess what? I might even decide not to do anything and just hold on to the names and just leave these as they are. I don't know. I've still got 2 more books at least to finish, and guess what? I don't even want to work on them. The other day I felt a little bit like, oh, I could do that, but then I'm thinking that this is me being absolutely transparent. I actually get resentful. I feel deeply resentful. I'm being totally honest. Yeah, I do, because if this one, Follow Your Dreams to Spark It, all of them really, but this one, Spark Your Dreams, that for me was supposed to really, really take off. If we talk spirituality now, like I don't like pushing on people, but you can share my experience. That was from all the signs I received. I was asking through my tarot cards, and I get so much signals through even social media. It's crazy, the synchronicities. That book was supposed to be the book that catapults me forward. So it was worth finishing it. I put that off all last year. January comes and I sacrificed the whole of January. Like I went hell for leather to finish that book. And it pushed me. I pushed hard to do that book. That book wasn't supposed to be done till about March or April. I finished it before the end of January. The whole thing, edited and everything, and published. That was a miracle in that sense. You know, I worked hard that. I don't think people realize how hard I worked to get it done. So when I set a goal, I go after it. But every single time one of these books doesn't be successful, it's hard to keep pushing forward to do it again because the willpower goes. It's not a case of, I don't want people to misconstrue it here to get it the wrong way. Like you'd give up on your dreams because you're not seeing success. It's not a case of, oh, I feel the work I've done is enough to fulfill my dreams. Like there's always going to be more and more books. There's always going to be more and more work you can do, even to the moment just before the period where we die. You can always do something, even if it's just gardening. There's always going to be work you can do. Doesn't mean you should have to. So yeah, there's 2 more books I can do, and books as creative, and books can help people. It can educate and learn, and it can inspire, so it can motivate. Yeah, or so maybe the next two books are the things that help motivate people. But why couldn't the other ones? That's my point. I didn't write all them for the sake of it. Now, some people might think, well, the work you did led you to them. Perhaps that's the answer. But I don't actually believe that is the answer at all. So right now, I could work on them. I'm choosing actively not to work on them. And I can't guarantee anything. So whether they see the light of day, I don't know. I believe they will. I don't know when. And like I say, I'm sick of going around in circles, though. So when they're done, I had other books in mind that I might do later, but yeah, I'm being totally transparent. If I end up releasing these other two books at a later date, now I don't know when. It might be by the end of the year one comes out. Next year another comes out. It could be 2 or 3 years before it's in. I don't know yet because I'm losing motivation for it. But there is a chance that I won't do any more after that. If I manage to get them done and they don't be successful either, it's unlikely I'm going to keep pressing ahead publicly with stuff. I'll still, as a creative individual, I'll still have aspirations and do things. And if I feel something's worthy of being released to the public, then perhaps I'll throw something else out again later. But if you're not seeing the success, it's people, like I say, people might look at it the wrong way and think of it as quitting, but I'm not seeing it as quitting. I'm seeing it as I gave everything in a period, and it's exhausting to keep pushing like that to that same extent. And I have to ask myself, is the next book or the one you're currently working on, is it better than what you've already done? Then the other question comes round, is it repeating what you've already done? Because if it's a repetition, I'm not interested. I see a lot of authors do that. There's a lot of authors that would duplicate their books, twist it slightly, and then say that's a new book. And it's like, it's not. You just say you're just doing a new edition of your existing work. And maybe you put a couple of extra chapters in. And you say it's a new, fresh idea. It's just really not. I'm not doing that. I've done enough books that I could easily get away with that if I chose to, but I'm not doing that. It has to be something fresh, and there has to be a reason for that book to exist. Otherwise, I'm not releasing it. So the next one, I think, can help humanity. And it's very much a niche that's different to what the others are. But it doesn't, for me, negate the work that already exists. So yeah, maybe that one has an impact. But I'm not ready to sacrifice for it right now. I'm tired in so many areas. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to keep going on. As you can see, I really don't give a shit. That's why you haven't got the green screen now. I'm not going to keep setting that up. Well, I will do if I take it serious, but I'm not taking it serious anymore. I'm tired. Like I said, I was going to do it. Prefer to do the video when I'm not so tired, because it's the middle of the night when I should be asleep. But during the day, I don't want to waste my day doing this either, if I'm being honest. And I just feel there's too many creators who don't know when to stop. So they stay beyond their sell-by date. You know what I mean? Like, they should have stopped, and they just don't know when to. And like I say, I'm coming away from things now, so I'm not going to be active on social media as much. It's unlikely I'm even going to be watching it anymore. It does mean I'm probably going to fall behind with politics and shit. I can't keep up with Donald Trump and his antics. He bores the shit out of me. It's a narcissistic individual as president. Criminal doing criminal things. I've commented that somewhere on reposts that I've done on TikTok. I've reposted some content with some comments attached to them, which I find fun. But I can't watch this lunatic. Now, some people worry that he won't leave office when his term comes and he'll extend it. Look, he's 80 years old. He's gonna, his life will extinguish naturally before, I think personally, before that becomes an issue. Whether his intentions are that, it's irrelevant, because his health will catch up with him before then, and age. So it's not really something I would particularly concern myself with if I was people. I just think maybe there should be new policies in place where there can only be people can only run for president at a certain age, and they can only hold office to a certain age, because it's ridiculous. You can't have someone who's 80 years old pretty much being a president of a country. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. They've got nothing to lose at that point. So it makes them dangerous. I'm not going to go political here now, and I'm certainly going to steer away from it for a period. Hopefully just switch off from the world, really. That's my plan. I don't always want to be active and knowing what the hell's going on, because the world's a crazy place. It's dangerous. It's unhinged and very rarely fair. And I'm not interested in viral sensations. I'm not interested in trends. Some of the things that the average person's interested in bores the living shit out of me, to be totally honest. So I'm not always intent on being relevant either, because I don't stick with the times, if you like. I'm still collecting physical media. I've got a massive DVD, Blu-ray, even 4K Blu-ray collection now. I don't like streaming apps. I have some of them, but I don't log in all the time. If there's something specific I want to watch there, or I just want a little bit of convenience in that sense, then I'll do it. But I don't know how the hell people can live with just that on their telly, because it's ridiculous. You get a curated section of films and TV shows to watch, and it's all spoon-fed. So you don't even think for yourself. And as soon as you really, really start thinking of something to watch that you really want to watch, it's not even there. It doesn't exist, and you just have to put up with what they give you, and you just accept that's your life. That's not my life. I buy the films and TV shows I love, and I know they're always available. I'll go on a streaming service for other content or something a bit effortless, easier to go through for a period. But I don't forgo my favourites. If I ever want a specific film, I can go and watch that. Like, I would say this. The film Ladder 49, I think, is one of the most emotional films ever. It's a firefighter film. Joaquin Phoenix, I think John Travolta, firefighter film. Mental good. Got it on DVD. It's a bit dated. And now I've just upgraded it to Blu-ray. And my Blu-ray player upscales the video, the discs. So they do look similar to 4K discs. Not quite the same, but they look similar. And they just don't have the HDR. But it's still incredible quality. And that's coming soon. Now, in the UK, anyone looks for Ladder 49, you're going to have a hard time. You can buy it digitally, from my understanding, on stores like Prime Video. But you never know about the terms of service and things like that. And who knows what the rules will be in the future, But me having it on a permanent disc means I always have access to that. But someone who has Netflix isn't watching that film. Now, they might not care. They might say, I don't care, I've got all this to watch. Yeah, you've got all that to watch that's curated. Some will leave, some will come. You never have freedom of choice of that. You only get what they give you, spoon-fed. I can watch my favourite films and the ones I've curated whenever I want. I don't put up with adverts. And it's actually quicker for me to grab the disc off the shelf, because I've got it all by genre. So I've got like fantasy, sci-fi. Then we've got, I've got action. And then underneath that, we've got adventure like Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider, things like this. Then I've got my musicals collection. So we get your musicals, a bit like, is it Saturday Night Fever, Grease, Dirty Dancing, all those sort of things. And then I've got school stuff, things dedicated to school. So Ferris Bueller's Day Off, we've got Breakfast Club, anything like that. Then I've also got my war films in another section. It just goes on and on, horror. I don't really watch a lot of horrors, but I still have some. I like my vampire stuff. I love all that, vampires and the zombies. That's got its own section. Whole shelf dedicated to that. Marvel and DC, so superhero comic book stuff. That's all in its own shelf. Like I said, then I've got the war section. Then I've got the disaster movies. I love disaster movies. That's probably one of my favourite genres. I was watching Poseidon yesterday. I've upgraded that from DVD to Blu-ray. Really good film. And I kind of like the water ones, I do like Jaws. I like The Meg. I like Deep Blue Sea. There is another one. The Meg, Deep Blue Sea, Jaws. Oh, it might have just been Poseidon. But yeah, I like them. And then we've got Deep Blue Horizon. And we've got the Twisters. Yeah, anyway. Daylight. And there was another one. I don't know. But anyway, I've got a load on that. That's one of my, like I said, one of my favourite sections, that one. But these are films, when you pick them up individually and you start Googling them, can you watch it on this app? Like, watch, blah, 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 in UK. Most of them are just not there. You won't, and you have to hope they come on. And that's what I'm saying. I know this is completely detouring, but it's just me showing that I don't follow the crowd. I just beat to my own drum. I'm living my own little bubble. I'm like a dinosaur in a sense. If something works for me, I stick to it. And I like having that curated section. So what I'm saying is that, let's say someone is thinking outside, like they're watching, they're going through Netflix, you're having to go through their curated shit. It's a pain in the ass. I hate it all. I really do. They can only show you so much at once. And then you decide to search for something. You have to start manually typing it in or speaking your remote, whatever you're doing. By the time you've done all that, I would have had my disc in my disc player. It's not hard, is it? I just go up to the shelf. I know what shelf I know what everything is on per shelf, because I know the genres. I don't do it in alphabetical order. I do it in my favourite film order, or where something's like similar to this, and I keep it all together like that. So I know, like, for instance, if I want to go and watch Gladiator, I know exactly the shelf. I'll just grab Gladiator. Gladiator is next to Braveheart. It's next to The Patriot. It's next to Saving Private Ryan. The movie 1917, Pearl Harbor. You know, I'm not even looking at it. I know exactly where they are. So if I want something like that, I'm thinking I want something like an epic like war movie or something. It's got a bit of character development. It's got a deep story to it. It's incredible. You know, I'll go and pick that. I know where I'm going to go for that. Everybody else has to go Googling and shit to see if it's available. Now, I already know where it is, and I've already put the disc in. And if I've got, if it's a format that can be upgraded, I'll look to upgrade the disc at some point. So that's what I've been doing, gradually upgrading my DVDs to Blu-ray. And then in some instances, I've been getting 4K Blu-rays. But it's a lot easier or cheaper to upgrade DVD to Blu-ray. But some films never went off DVD, so that's the best you're going to get. Anyway, I know we're going around in circles here with that and probably boring the right people off. But I think some people are leaders in their own lives. I'm not saying leaders to lead other people, but you're leaders in your own lives. And some people just naturally follow us. Sheep. I've never been a sheep, you know. So some people will say, oh, your physical media is dead. Again, they're just trying to validate their experience, to validate all their subscriptions and shit. It's like, yeah, good luck. Keep searching for something to watch and keep having it taken away from you because licensing agreements or, you know, whatever the reason is. And the terms of service constantly changing. You know, there may be a day when we have no choice, but everybody has to watch adverts, you know, because it's just too much money making from the... I'm not going to get into it, but I just think it's going away from people power to corporate greed, and I don't really want to be a part of that. So I'd rather grab the movies now and everything I like while they're at a decent price, because the used market's crazy right now. You can get them good. But if everybody just starts flooding it, again, what? They're going to run out of stock. And there's certain films I've been buying recently that are very, very rare in the UK. I've got The Abyss 4K, which is 4K Blu-ray and the original Blu-ray. That you can't buy in the UK, it's banned. I had to get a European version of that. That cost a little bit of extra premium for it. I had to get Judge Dredd. That was an import as well. I think that's American import, I'm not sure. But it works in the UK. It's region free. Again, you can't buy that in the UK. A Blu-ray of Judge Dredd, the original, 1990 something, I don't know, 1996 or whatever. I got that. And then I've just upgraded Any Given Sunday from DVD to Blu-ray. Again, that cost me a premium, like a big premium. I think it's like £15 nearly, I think. Which is a lot of money for a Blu-ray because you can get 4K Blu-rays. But guess what? You can't get a 4K Blu-ray of that film. So Blu-ray is the best version you're ever going to get at this stage. And it's not anywhere. It's so hard to get. So you have to pay a premium for it. So that's what I've been doing. So I pay premium for certain films because they are a premium film to me. Like The Secret Window, I absolutely love that. Johnny Depp. I know we've gone off track, but it's told. Yeah, I've had the DVD of that for ages, but then I was like, wait a minute, is there a Blu-ray for that? Because I don't think there is in the UK. And there is, but there's only very, very few amount. You have to actually, for the most part, you probably have to get it imported. But I've managed to buy that as well. So these are films I've just upgraded. I'm waiting for them to come now. Ladder 49, Any Given Sunday, and The Secret Window. I think they're the ones, at least. And these are films that I don't know if you're always going to find. Any Given Sunday might be on Disney. I'm not really sure. But this is the thing. They could be on this app, could be on that app, this app, that. Well, it depends on what one you're subscribing to. A lot of messing about. Just get it on a shelf, you know. I ain't got to keep paying. Like I said, I've still got some subscriptions, but I'm not relying on them. I don't really care if they lapse, and I don't bother with them. Don't need them. They're just there for just something else every now and again, you know. But it's not something I deeply need. I know that's completely off track to the overall thing, to be totally honest. But again, I think it comes down to doing your own thing, really. Leading by example in our own lives, you know. Anyway, I don't want to keep rambling because I'm bored shitless. And I'm just going around in circles myself. I think we're going back to that repeating shit. That's what a lot of people do. I've noticed that with their videos. They go around in circles. Sometimes I watch people, and I've probably done it in this video. It's not perfect. But I do see it in some people's videos where I'll watch and think, you could have stopped there. Because they just go on and on and on. Anyway, at 40 minutes, I'm guessing I've probably gone on as well. But it's probably my last hurrah. I'm not saying I'm never going to create content. But the plan at the moment is to not create content. If I've got something to do, say, and I think it's going to help people, then of course I'll talk on things. But I'm just as comfortable to not create anything. That's a better place to be, because then you just picky about what you create. I just think too many people at the moment, they're just quick to create constantly for no reason. And it's just the same shit from 5 years ago. So what's the point?